It's so funny. I've had this table. It's been in my family for like, God, I must have had it. Oh my God. I think we got this table in like 1987.
Oh, really?
I've had it for so many years. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, I'll take us in. So, welcome back to another episode, and I'm joined by a very smaller gamester. He's been taking backward steroids. I'm just kidding. I want to.
Am I too small?
No. This looks like I'm bigger and stronger than you. And Gabe's like, oh no, I'm not going to have that fly.
All right.
Alex, yeah.
Look good?
Yeah, it's totally good.
All right.
It's too funny. Oh my God. So, welcome back to another episode, and I'm joined by Gamester81, John.
What's up, guys?
And it's so crazy. We were looking at the calendar, and we realized that the first time we ever met John was back 6 years ago.
Almost to the day.
Almost to the day.
Yeah.
And John's up for the weekend, and he's just around the corner. I was like, John, why don't you come over and shoot a video? And that's what we decided to do. And it's always great having you up here. It's like super fantastic.
Always a great time, man. It's good to see you again as always. And
yeah.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, and we just thought today we just talk about what it was like being a video gamer in the early days. Not really the appreciation of graphics or anything like that, but more the culture of it and what was kind of cool and what was not cool. Like, we kind of think that in 2016, we'll say, it's pretty cool to like video games and movies, superhero movies and comic books and that, but back in the 80s, it certainly wasn't.
Yeah.
It was a brand new hobby, and it was kind of, you didn't go around bragging about it. I've talked about that before, but like for me, I was playing Mario Brothers and stuff like that in high school, and I never talked outside of my circles.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Even other people who played video games, you'd be like, hey, you play video games? And they're like, no. Even though they did. Everybody was so strange about it.
It was weird.
Yeah.
I remember remember that Zelda watch back when it came out? I brought that to school and I was like made fun of for wearing that. No joke. Wow. Like seriously, people were like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you wear a normal watch? Like, it was weird.
Yeah. I remember we did the All Gen Gamers episode, and Pete brought on that younger gamer guy.
Yeah.
And he was telling us, like he was in grade 7 or something like that, and he was telling us that now it's about being a part of a clan in school or you're not cool.
Right.
Like a first-person shooter clan, like for Call of Duty. Either you're in with that group of people or you're not a video gamer. And if you said that you're into retro games, you were made fun of. I was like, holy, every generation has their own unique thing.
And now they have like social media and just things are like more blown out of proportion now, just socially, right? So.
And that's another thing. We didn't have Facebook and the internet.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so it was like the people that you hung out with and played video games with were very important to you.
Right.
Like it was like they were treasured people. But I remember I had a Walkman full of video game music and anime music, and this is like 1988. And I was walking around high school, and I remember sweating a little bit. I really loved the music, but I was like, if anybody grabbed my headphones and listened to it, I'd be like, what are you listening to? You know, like, what, you are a fucking loser. You're not listening to the coolest, latest bands by some Americans or something. You know? I'd be that type of thing. But were you ever, like bullied or made fun of beyond, like, that kind of stuff?
You know, it's interesting. I was, like, in middle school, I was actually bullied. And
this guy's a huge guy. He's sitting back right now. We have to sit him down. I'm on my knees. Okay, this is like sitting. We had to give him a pillow.
And it's funny because I would actually go home. It's looking back on it. I actually play. This is back in middle school. I go home and play Street Fighter 2. I pretend that I'm like the character, and like the guy I was fighting was the bully.
Wow.
It was kind of a release for me to like, you know, kick their ass, you know, in the video game.
But why would they make fun of you? Were you a smaller guy back then?
I was smaller, and like my voice change was brutal.
Yeah.
Like my voice change, like most guys would like squeak. Their voices would squeak. I would sound like Mickey Mouse. Like,
hey, what are you fucking?
No, seriously. I'd be like, I'd answer the phone at home, like, hi, Mrs. Lester. You know, like it was bad. No joke. So people picked on me for that, and then my voice literally changed like overnight, literally, and I came back the next day and like, hey guys, what's going on?
You know what's really weird for me? I don't even remember my voice changing.
Really?
No, I don't even remember going through. You remember the whole Brady Bunch episode? Remember his voice changed and hey everybody.
Yeah.
I don't even remember going through like something like that. I don't. That's so weird. It just kind of. It happened so gradually.
Yeah. So for me, like video games very much so was a release for me to kind of keep my mind off the things that was going on in school, the difficult times, but also to like kick their ass as well. Like just pretend anyway.
Oh man! And then all of a sudden you grow up and you're like this monster. You're like killing people in the back alleys. Nobody really knows what you're doing.
I'm a gentle giant.
Yeah, gentle giant, burying people at night quietly. You know, but it's so funny how like video games has changed. It's like
it is.
We were also talking with me and John are huge Star Wars fans.
Very much so.
Very much so. It's one thing we have in common quite a lot. And we were thinking back to when Episode 1 came out, The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
and there was a midnight toy release, and that was a really big weird thing to do in 1999.
Yeah.
And you went to yours. What was yours like?
Toys R Us. So yeah, I remember I still have my certificate actually from Toys R Us.
Oh, wow.
They gave a certificate. Yeah, I went with my brother, and it was packed. Like people were rolling over people.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Have been for years. And back then, this is during high school. I had a lot of my figures displayed on my wall in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So I'd have like girls come over, and they'd like, get in the mood and look around like, what is this? You know, because they don't get the Star. They don't get that I'm a Star Wars fan. So
yeah.
It was interesting for sure, yeah.
Were you ever getting it on with a girl and she saw like Darth Vader and said, "Guys, what is going on here?"
Yeah, I mean that's why you have the lights. You turn off the lights so they don't have to look at. Yeah. But
yeah, you turn off the lights and you put on your Star Wars music, right?
dun, 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 dun.
It's just like, what the fuck? It was funny because it was myself, my friend Andrew, and Rob.
Yeah.
And we're like, I saw it in the paper because there was no internet. I'm like,
right.
Dude, I said, there's a fucking episode 1 toys going sale tonight.
Right.
We gotta go. My friend Andrew's like, oh, come on, like really? He was so kind of like against it. Rob was like easygoing. He's like, yeah, I'll go and do that.
Nice.
And then for me, I was kind of in the middle. I felt embarrassed about going lining up for toys at midnight, but I was like, but I want them. And I remember showing up, and there was a huge lineup, and I was kind of taken back. I was like, because I remember saying on the way over, I'm like, nobody's gonna be there.
Yeah.
We'll be the only idiots. We were always making fun of ourselves. We'll be the only idiots there. And it's so funny we get there. And my friend Andrew's making fun of everybody else in the line, and I'm like, yeah, but we're in the line, buddy. You can't make fun of anybody else in the line. And it's so funny. And yeah, that was madness. But
it was madness.
But it was so funny how I wanted to bring that story up because of how I felt, embarrassed and excited, And now there was Force Friday.
Oh yeah.
And now it's like a big deal thing.
People were bringing their like 2-year-old kids out midnight to go shopping for Star Wars Force Friday. It was crazy,
yeah.
It hadn't changed much. People are still mulling over people to get toys, and the aisles are just, they don't limit how many people can buy. They just buy whatever, fill up their bins. They don't care what they're getting, and it's crazy.
What I did this Force Friday, I went down, and there's a huge lineup only at one place in Vancouver. I looked, and I was like, fuck this. And I left. And what I heard is, I went to Walmart the next morning, and there's a whole bunch of people in the lineup that had waited like 5 hours to get into that Toys R Us for Force Friday. They got in, and the manager came out, he's like, there's enough toys for everybody. And then all of a sudden, everybody runs in, and everybody got like one figure for 5 hours waiting.
Oh, wow.
And I went to Walmart the next morning, and I just ran in and grab. It was fine. I remember doing that after the Phantom Menace, going the next morning to a Zellers, that was in Vancouver, and they're just stocked.
Yeah.
The one thing I noticed, I don't know if you remember in the 80s, there was a lot more action figures. Like, I mean, you go into like a big department store, and there was a wall of action figures. Now there's a small section in every Toys R Us.
The distribution for Hasbro is not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, do you think they're holding back on purpose?
I don't know. It's been like that for several years now. It's been as a collector, it's really frustrating because it's hard to find new figures out there in the wild.
Yeah. But getting back to video games, it's just it's so amazing how it's changed over the years, the culture of it, and like going from 8-bit graphics to, look at the graphics we have now. It's so...
And then VR is coming up. I mean, it's crazy.
It's really, and then this whole social media aspect, the whole culture of video games has changed, and I think it's gotten a lot better.
Sure.
I think it's a great time to be a video gamer, but I think a lot of the innocence has been lost, but it's a lot more socially acceptable, which is great. You don't have to sneak around in the darkness anymore with it.
There's a lot of casual gamers still. I think we have Nintendo to thank for a lot of that.
Yeah.
For a lot of like casual gamers, the Wii, I mean, obviously came out was huge for casual gamers.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's definitely people are more it's more socially acceptable to be a gamer maybe
now
than it was back then, but
yeah. It's fun, yeah. So, what do you guys think? Is it more socially acceptable now to be a gamer or back in the early days of the 80s? So, anyways, guys, until next time.